Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into how artificial intelligence is about to completely reshape music. And we're going way beyond just, AI generating a catchy tune. We're asking a much deeper question. How will AI change what music even is, what it does for us, and maybe what it means to be human in a world of perfect sound? Okay, so our journey into the future of music is going to unfold in three distinct phases. First, we've got artificial narrow intelligence, or ANI. That's the specialized tool we're all getting familiar with right now. Then, around 2030, we expect a huge leap to artificial general intelligence, AGI, which will be more like a true creative partner. And finally, from 2040 onwards, things get really wild with artificial superintelligence, ASI, a consciousness protocol that could just fundamentally change our reality. Each step is a massive shift in how we relate to music.
So let's start where we are right now, in the era of artificial narrow intelligence. Now, this AI doesn't have a soul, it doesn't feel the music, but what it can do is learn from incredible amounts of data, making it an insanely powerful tool. Its main job right now? To get rid of all the tedious, boring parts of making music, which shifts the human's role from being a laborer to being the director.
And AI is already turning every step of the musical process on its head. In creation, you can just type a prompt like 1980 City Pop and boom, you get a backing track in seconds. In production, AI is automating the painful work of mixing. For vocals, it can create a realistic singer out of thin air, or even translate a song into another language in the original artist's voice. And for us listeners, it's creating these hyper-personalized playlists based on our real-time context, not just what genre we like.
You can really see the impact here. Composers used to spend hours with trial and error. Now it's a conversation with an AI. Hours and hours of manual mixing by an engineer, that's now minutes of auto-optimization. And getting that perfect vocal take? Instead of dozens of tries, you do one, and the AI perfects it. By just erasing all these repetitive tasks, the human creator is totally free to focus on the big picture, the vision.
All right, let's look ahead to the next stage, which should kick off around 2030. This is the dawn of artificial general intelligence. And this isn't just a slightly better tool, it's a monumental leap. AGI is going to move beyond just copying patterns to actually understanding the emotion, the context, and the intention behind the music.
And this shift is absolutely crucial. You see, ANI is a master of statistical prediction. It knows what notes are likely to come next based on the data. But AGI will understand why. It'll get concepts like nostalgia or hope and know how to translate that feeling into sound. It's the difference between a tool that just follows orders and a partner that actually gets.
I mean, just imagine having a creative partner that can have this kind of artistic discussion with you. It doesn't just give you what's musically correct, it actually challenges you. It blends pure logic with a deep understanding of human emotion to help you express what's in your soul even better. That is the promise of AGI. With that level of understanding, AGI could literally create a living soundtrack for your life, one that changes in real time with your mood. It could deconstruct genres and fuse them in ways we can't even imagine because it understands their core philosophies. It could become the ultimate music tutor or even a therapist, creating sounds tailored not just to a group of people, but to your specific, individual emotional state.
But this brings up a really fascinating question, right? If collaborating with an artificial genius just becomes the normal way of doing things, what's the new role for human creativity? What do you, as a person, bring to the table when your partner has instant access to all of music history?
Okay, now we're taking our final leap into the really, truly mind-bending future of artificial superintelligence, which we think could emerge around 2040. At this point, music is no longer something you just listen to. It becomes a direct interface with reality and with consciousness itself.
So here's the core concept, and it's a big one. ASI goes beyond sound waves and speakers. Through things like brain-computer interfaces, it could bypass our ears entirely and create the pure qualia of music, the direct feeling of sound, right inside our minds.
This happens on a few different levels. First, brain-computer interfaces will let us perceive frequencies that are physically impossible for a human ear to hear. Second, an ASI could literally translate the fundamental laws of the universe, the math of quantum physics, into a kind of quantum harmony, letting us actually hear the structure of reality. And finally, it could create hypersynesthesia, fusing sound with color, scent, and memory into one unified multisensory story.
And to give you a sense of the scale we're talking about, an AI could compose a single piece of music that lasts for 100 years. A symphony that starts when you're born, evolves with every experience you have, and accompanies you your entire life without ever repeating itself. It becomes a living entity, a narrative as vast as a human lifetime.
So, in a future filled with perfect, infinite, brain-altering music, what happens to the human being with a guitar? Well, paradoxically, they might become more important than they have ever been. Because when perfection is infinite and free, imperfection becomes priceless.
And that really is the central question that will define the value of what we can call natural music in the age of superintelligence. The answer isn't about technical skill. It's about the very thing that makes us human.
In this future, our whole idea of value in music could flip on its head. We'll find beauty in the slight, unintentional quiver in a singer's voice. We'll feel a sense of physical empathy, knowing the years of practice and physical toil it took to make that sound. But most of all, we'll value authenticity, the absolute guarantee that this sound came from another human soul, right here, right now.
So, you can imagine a future where music splits into two different worlds. On one side, you have ASI music. Its source is the universe itself, experienced directly in your brain, and its goal is transcendence. On the other side, you have natural music. Its source is breath and fingers and throats. It embraces its flaws, you experience it through vibrations in the air, and its goal is connection and a reassurance of our shared humanity.
Live unplugged concerts could become the new sanctuaries. Seriously. In a world totally saturated with perfect, synthesized experiences, people will crave protected spaces where they can go to hear something beautifully, authentically imperfect, to feel the vibrations in the air, and just remember what it feels like to be a physical, fragile, and wonderful human being.
So looking back over this whole journey, the path is pretty clear. With AI, the human is a director using a tool. With AGI, we become a co-creator with a partner. And finally, with ASI, the human is more of a participant in an experience conducted by a superintelligence. And the value we get from it all evolves too, from efficiency to empathy, and finally, to transcendence.
As we've seen, the future of music isn't just about new sounds. It's really a journey into new ways of feeling, of connecting, and of just being. And that leaves us with one last big question. What if music's ultimate purpose was never just to be heard, but to become the very protocol for the evolution of consciousness itself?